All right, folks. Well, like I said, we want to make sure that we're, you know, respectful of those that come in here, get here on time, and we've got a lot to cover, quite frankly. So we don't like have 15 minutes to wait for the laggards to catch up with us. So I am so glad that you are here, and not only that you're here, but the fact that you have chosen to, dedicate and, let me real quick, I'm going to quit the beeping in and out, or else we're going to go, Matt. Lisa, are you able to maybe remove that beeping sound? I'm like so ADHD, like it'll totally throw me off. If you're
Got it.
able to do that, just shoot.
I'll
Oh,
check it out.
perfect. There we go. Sweet. Okay. Cool. Well, like I said, thank you all so much for being here. And not only just for being here, right? Like you're just by setting aside the time to go, hey, I want to plug in this to a session where I'm gonna really be able to learn new things and grow, make more money, build a better strategy, and like work towards building businesses that we love to own, love to operate, grow, and provide amazing abundance for ourselves and those that we love. Like, what's better than that? So, just want to salute you for that and for plugging in today. I'm gonna do my part and promise to deliver some of our very best, most like cutting edge ideas and how we're helping HVAC, plumbing, generally home service companies like literally recapture up to 50% of lost revenue just by getting things done right on the Google Maps side. That's why I went a little crazy. I went map money for today's session. Like, let's just cut straight to the point. What we all want here. So, um, I want you all to engage with me today in the chat. Like, if I say something that connects a thought or is like a key takeaway, just throw a boom in the chat or throw. I want you to engage because like I'm not just doing this for the fun of it. Like I really want to provide value to you all. So if you have questions, throw them in the chat. If you have reactions, like I want to see the booms. Like let me know that I'm actually delivering great value to you all. Is that a fair commitment? Can I get like at least one boom in the chat just to make sure that we're tracking and we're on the right path for today? And I'm gonna take a little sip of tea as well, clear my throat. Stefan, there we are. Thank you. Lisa, thank you. Here we go. Okay, awesome. Well, without further ado, let's jump in. So today's session is Map Money. And I'm really excited about this session because we do a lot of different things here at HVAC Marketers, but like this is truly one of the most key strategies when we like really think about like how do we make our clients a boatload of money? How do we like really help them grow? It's in this map section. And I don't know if you guys are like under a rock or something, but like AI has totally changed this landscape in the last 12 months. So if you're curious about AI and like how that's having an effect, like you're plugged into the right place because we're gonna talk about that today. So I kind of alluded to this, but maps, and let me zoom out for a second. When we talk about the Google map, and I'll show you in greater detail here in a moment, um, us in the like marketing place, we're referring to that as generally SEO. That's 95% of getting into the map. So why do I bring this up? Well, it's important to understand where today's conversation fits into the larger context of how you should be marketing as a home service company, right? So you'll see here today, we're going to be very focused on SEO and maps, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're doing to get the result there. But it's just one component, right? So the other components before even getting in the map, right? Like if let's say you're found on the map and it's super easy to find your business, that's great. If you don't have a conversion focused website that can actually convert visitors into callers and then callers into customers, then there's a huge disconnect, right? This is like one big chain and you need to have all the links here. In addition to that, we're huge believers in paid ad strategies like local service ads. We're big fans of social media and database marketing. So marketing to your past customers and getting them to re-engage, selling them maintenance agreements, increasing their lifetime value as high as we possibly can. And then also having a world-class reputation online through review management. So these are like the 6 key categories that we focus on at HVAC marketers. And this is the reason that our clients are growing an average of more than 20% year over year, right? Like we're helping them get all 6 of these channels, which is really the 80-20 of like these are the 20% of marketing activities that generate 80% of the results. Right? There's so many different things you can do for marketing. Let's not do everything, right? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's focus on the highest return. And so I just want to key you into our philosophy at a higher level prior to diving in deep today. Cool. Awesome. So I'm going to ask for your attention today. Like the more that you play all out here and engage in the chat and ask questions and really like focus in here, which means turning off the cell phones, turning off the Facebook here. Like I'll lead by example. You see mine back on the cabinet. So I just promise you, the more that you plug in here, the more you're going to get out of it. And I really want you all to get a ton out of today. So I'll do my part, and I just ask that you do your part and really plug in here. Cool. So for anyone here that doesn't know me, right? So my name is Alex, and I am the founder of HVAC Marketers, and I have truly the privilege of like working with some of the best HVAC companies across the country. Well, actually, I should expand that. We've got clients in Canada. We have, so we go from like international now. We go from the East Coast all the way to Hawaii. Like, it's so cool. Like we get to see all different service areas and climates and markets, and it's such a joy. And why that matters to you all is because this is all that I do, right? Like all I do is market HVAC and plumbing companies. That's our bread and butter. So I want you to know that today's not like a pitch for our services. Like I just want to go ahead and get this elephant out of the, like, let's address it and then we'll move on, right? We're a full service digital marketing company. And for some of you on this call, you're going to listen to the information and then you're going to ask who, not how, right? You're going to go, great information. I just want Alex and his team to like implement this and make sure that we're not missing out in the AI space on the maps, like, and that will make the most sense. That's great. We're totally open to that, and there'll be opportunity to schedule a time to chat with me or someone on my team. Like, we got you taken care of. All you need to do is put it in the chat. You can actually, Lisa from my team, she's on here. You can like literally message her and go, hey, send me some. Actually, Lisa, would you just put the link to our calendar, put the link to my personal calendar in here if you can, the schedule link. And if for those that make sense, like definitely do that. But this is the end of the pitch, and I'm gonna play all out with you all and like give you our best, most cutting edge information. And I want to provide it in a way that you can literally like take this and go back to your current marketing agency or implement it on your own. Like I'm gonna play all out and share everything with you. So cool. Lisa, it's the schedule. If you go to our website, top right corner, let's grab that link, would make the most sense. Perfect. Schedule link coming in a moment. Okay. Cool. So does SEO still matter? That's a good question, right? AI is upon us. Google's constantly changing. Like we know firsthand how much it's changing. It's kind of unbelievable. Here's the thing, guys. Like, there's no reason to be afraid of this massive change when it comes to Google and marketing. Like, the bottom 80% of home service companies are going to be very afraid in this climate and like worry about losing ground. And like the top 20% are going, how do we absolutely capitalize on this change and beat out all the private equity, beat out all of the, all of the big guys in town, like this is your chance. This is the leveling of the playing field. So that's why I say this is like my favorite session to do, just because it is for those that are really like aggressive and want to take their businesses to the next level. Like the time has never been better, and you have about, I would say, a 6 to 12 month window right now where there is this, like everyone's figuring out AI, and after that time passes and like everyone's on board, like you've totally lost your advantage. So that's why we're doing this session now. So let's look here quickly at a Google search page just to like make sure that we're all on the same page. Um, when we say the map section, it's this right here, right? So it's the Google business profile. It's the map set, right? It's got a map there. Like we're not a super creative name, but pretty straightforward, right? Like the map pack. So um, and I'm going to share with you why it's still really important. So more than 60% of the clicks on a Google search page are still happening in this map, right? Like I hear people all the time that say, well, with the advent of like paid ads, like pay per click, local service ads, the AI insights, like how important is it really to make sure that I'm showing up in the map? Like, is that a thing of the past? And it's really not. Like more than 60% of the clicks are coming organically from the map. And I think the reason why is pretty, if you just think about your own like buying behaviors, it makes a lot of sense because, if I just were to ask you, like, hey, Joe, when you go and search for, you know, a roofing company or a restaurant or a dentist or whatever, like, do you click on a paid ad? And like 99% of people tell me, well, I don't click on paid ads because I don't trust them as much, right? Well, you know, Google did over 300 billion in revenue last year. Like lots of people click the ads even if they don't know it, but a ton of the clicks are still coming from this map section. And beyond that, I just wanted to give you like a real kind of business case example. So this is a dashboard from one of our clients. This is just 1 month in the year, right? Um, we helped them generate 491 calls from the Google map directly, right? So what was the number? 461 calls from people that saw our client right here in the map, clicked call, and then gave them an opportunity for business, right? Is there anyone here that would like totally not want that result, right? Like most, that's pretty good. Well, maybe the question that you're not asking is how much did it cost to get this result, right? So, in this particular example, our client's not paying anything for the, they're not paying Google for, it's not an ad, right? So they are hiring us to get them to show up in the map. So in this case, their total investment for the month, $4,150. They generated 461 clicks. So they're looking at a $9 per lead cost. Is that pretty attractive to any, like, does that make a lot of business sense to anyone on this call here? $9 per lead. Makes a lot of sense to the folks that I talk to. So, especially when you compare that to pay per click, like, I don't know if anyone here, Stefan, like, I don't know if you're running pay per click or running ads, strategies, but, we see pay per click, and oh my gosh, I mean, I don't have to tell you guys, it could be $200+ per call. So this totally flips the script on how you can get the most investment from your marketing dollars. And it's map money today. That's why we're talking about the ROI and how to really get a good return by showing up in the map, and why so many contractors are just completely missing out. So I've kind of alluded to this already. What about AI? Anyone here curious about AI? Oh, Stefan, we spent over 100K in a year on PPC. Yeah, and you be as candid as you are comfortable being, but like, what would you rate? Was your return like low, medium, or high as you look at that investment? I'll let you key that in there. You guys are giving me a chance to. I'm like on day 7 of a sinus infection, so I'm gonna like take every opportunity I can just to get the throat coat tea down, so I can have the endurance with you all. All right. Well, Stefan. Oh, ROI was horrible. Maybe close to 26K, so it wasn't beneficial. Yeah, I mean, so that is super common. We're seeing this more and more. Oh, we're in Florida, so it's saturated, but still. Yeah, I mean, and it's not only just about being in Florida, right? You guys are seeing some companies get scooped up by private equity, right? Well, let me tell you behind the curtain what goes on there. Um, these big private equity firms, when they are buying your competitors, they have near unlimited resources to come into the pay-per-click market and totally disrupt it. Okay, what do I mean by that? Pay-per-click is an auction environment. So Google's just saying, who's willing to pay the most to show up first? And it's either you or the private equity firm. And I don't know about you guys, but typically when it comes to an outspending strategy, it's pretty hard to compete with the private equity, right? But the good news is they're not that hard to outsmart when it comes to this marketing stuff, right? You can throw all the dollars in the world that you want at the problem, and there's no doubt that does, that helps to a certain extent, but like Stefan's saying, uh, you know, over 100K in a year, PPC ROI was horrible. The private equity firms are willing to do that because they just want to acquire customers at any cost. They're betting on the long-term retention. They're betting on the maintenance agreement contract and like keeping them forever, getting at least 2 of the 3 installs that homeowner is going to buy over the course of their life, right? So it's a totally different game. Let's not play that game. Let's outsmart them. Does that sound like a good strategy? So that's what this is here in the maps. And so what about AI? This is the chance to hop on the train and like dominate and truly outsmart the private equity owned companies, right? Because this is that level playing field. So the beautiful thing about AI is so much of what we do to get our clients to show up on the map is exactly what Google needs and is exactly what Google is looking for to show our clients in AI results. So let me show you what I mean. So I just went to Google here. I added this slide like Lisa and I were talking like 10 minutes apart. I'm like, I gotta give everyone that shows up today like some insight on AI. So I just did this search like what 20 minutes ago. How long should an AC unit last? Right, probably something that one of your potential customers is going to search when you send them the estimate or like before you come out and they know that when they bought the house, they knew that it was like a 12-year-old system and they're going to Google. Well, we see here the very first result on Google is this AI overview, right? This is AI right here. So would you all think it would make sense to be able to show up in this section? I mean, I would. Like, this is what we're doing for our clients and why they're dominating. Let me show you a little bit more on this. So how long should an AC unit last? Central air conditioning typically lasts for 15 to 20 years. Da da da. Right? It's giving all this information, but let me show you something really special. When you drill into this and you see the sources here, look, McCullough Heating and Air Conditioning. Anyone familiar with McCullough? Right? That's their content on their website is what AI is referencing for this answer, right? What's this one? Oh, it's so small. I can't even read it. You guys will have to read it there. It's another HVAC company, right? Another home service company where they wrote an article October of last year, typical lifespan of an air conditioning unit. We'll get into more detail on content and your website and how that plays into this strategy. But I just want to show you we're writing content pieces like you see here, referenced on the side, to get our clients shown in the map. And it's exactly what's getting them to show up in AI. Isn't that cool? Like, isn't that is that a can I get a boom? And like, is anyone getting value from this? Like the fact that you can double dip, like not only get in the map but also get in on AI, like that's pretty awesome. Thank you, Stefan, for the boom. So yeah, SEO drives calls, and you can't just rely on paid efforts alone. Like Stefan was saying, I mean, um, throwing $100,000 a year into pay per click isn't cutting it for Stefan, right? So it's like, how do we outsmart the competition and like focus on the channels where we have more of a level playing field? So, okay, I think you guys are completely. Are we bought in on like why SEO and showing up in the map is super important? Do I need to even do this here? Let's see. Yeah, like I can give you all the stats. I mean, I think the most important stat is what you guys saw earlier, which is $9 per lead. Like that. That's kind of like the bottom line, right? Like just limited dollars invested, maximum return. Like if you all, which you should be targeting like at least $1,000 average ticket. That $9 makes a tremendous amount of sense when you're able to really get showing up in the map and on AI. So good deal here. If you guys have been on a presentation before, you know that I totally like I try to adjust to the crowd here. So I'm going to skip over some of that, but let's focus on this section here for a second. So I just find that, I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience. Maybe let me know if you have in the chat, but like you start talking to a marketing company or whoever you're talking to about SEO and like getting in the maps, it like instantly becomes this super like freaking smoke and mirrors, like totally confusing deal where it's like you feel like you're like doing nuclear launch codes to try to figure this stuff out. I feel like that is not so unnecessary. Like it's really not that complicated at the highest level. And this is the metaphor that I think makes most sense to understand it. Um, Google is like a good friend or family member that is just like giving you a referral, right? Like think of your family member that maybe you moved into the same town as a family member and you're like asking where they take their car to get serviced or what dentist do they use. Like your friend's gonna like you're gonna really trust their or your family member, you're gonna like really trust their referral, right? Because like they've used the person, they have some trust there. Google's no different. Google just want like Google is very willing to put you in the map and show your business and like help you grow. You just have to basically tell them three things. What do you do? Where do you do it? And why should they trust you? Right? It's those three things. So what do you do? Like let's say you're an HVAC company. Great. We got to make absolutely sure that they know not only that you're an HVAC company, but what services, are you do you do install, service, replacement? Do you do duct cleaning? Do you do, we got to be very specific and clarify to Google what it is that you do. To where you do it, right? Like there's a reason they show you on the map. Like you don't, if you're in, Joe, I don't know where you're located, but like if you're on the East Coast, like you don't want to be shown a dentist that's 500 miles away from you, right? Like that wouldn't make sense. And then lastly, why should they trust you? So the most easy one to understand is like Google reviews, right? If you have a ton of Google reviews and you get them on a regular basis, that's a really big trust signal for Google. They go, well, Stefan, his company must like have some idea like what they're doing and provide like some pretty good results because like people just keep giving them reviews. That's a really easy one to understand. Where this whole conversation becomes a bit more complex is when we dive into like all these other more technical ways of answering those three questions: what you do, where you do it, and why Google should trust you. So I'm going to drill into some of these just to kind of show you a little bit about how this stuff works. But I just, if you walk away with one thing today, I think it should really be that getting in the map is not that complicated, and it's just answering those three questions, right? So if you're working with an agency, or if you're working with, you have an in-house marketer, whoever it is, or you decide to come with us, like make sure you ask that question. Hey, what are we doing to tell Google what we do, where we do it, and why they should trust us? Stefan, we use a job site check-in program that posts to our GBP and socials with pics in a radius of uh, where we were. It boosts our map so far. Yeah. So does this make even more sense now then, Stefan? Like that is answering the question. That's answering all three questions, right? What you do. Like I'm sure that you're putting in some details about the job, right? Like in most of these tools. And then does everyone know what Stefan's referencing, by the way? There's tools out there and they can work really well where you have your technicians basically check in at a job site, and by checking in, it's basically pushing this information to Google, to the internet of like, where did you do the job, right? So he says, yeah, post to our Google business profile and socials. Yeah, in a radius of where the work was done, right? So there's where did we do it? There's what the job was. Yeah, exactly. It's giving a blurb of what we did with real pics and yeah, exactly. So what they did, where they do it, and then the why they should trust. Let me see. What did you put in your first message here? Thanks for the engagement, by the way. Like this is how I want to make sure that you guys get a ton of value out of this. Socials and pigs. Yeah, and I'm gonna just assume maybe that you are also following that up with the Google review link. Like, hey, if you feel we did a great job, would you mind leaving us a review? And you have your technicians also asking for the review at the end. Like, I do a whole training session on this as well, so you guys should definitely join that. But that's how Stefan is answering all three of those questions, and that's yet another great way to just answer those questions as much as you can for Google. Stefan says, yes, it links to our House Call Pro. Beautiful. There we go. Great, yeah, great strategy. And so now you've got an additional way that you're telling Google, right, what you do, where you do it, why they should trust you. So this game is all about how do you do that as much as you possibly can? How do you make that question so undeniable? Go back to the referral example. Let's say you asked your family member, hey, what dentist do you guys what dentist do you use? Like we're in Cincinnati. My wife and I, we moved to a new home. We ask our friends, what dentist do you use? Oh, we use Anderson dentist. Okay. We ask like 3 or 4 other friends and they all say the same Anderson dentist, right? Like we're like, okay, well, why would we not use them, right? Like there's so much evidence out there. It's exactly the same with Google. Hopefully there's some light bulbs going off. And so let's look at this graphic here. These are more and more ways that we answer those 3 questions. So the first one here is your Google business profile, right? So this is, I think, pretty simple. So it's something like everyone on this call, like Joe, Stefan, you should be totally crushing this. And so we're not going to spend a ton of time on it, but I just want to underscore the importance of this here. Your Google business profile is your direct channel to tell Google these 3, what you do, where you do it, why they should trust you, right? Like you'd be surprised, and I'm sure this is no one on this call or watching the replay. Surely this is not you, right? But I will say I've had a lot of HVAC owners that, they say, hey, why are we not showing up on the Google map? And I take a look at their profile and I'm like, well, you have a crappy description. You've not outlined your products. It's not even you're not taking full advantage of this. Like, how could you expect Google to put you in the map or put you in their AI response? And yet you're not going 110 miles an hour on the Google business profile. So as an action item, you might want to write this down. Check your Google business profile, especially if you're multi-location. Let's say you have 5 different locations. Each one of those has a profile. Like go in there and check, make sure you have products listed, Q&A is answered, description that, here, catch this, a description that also answers the who you are, what you do, Oh, sorry. See, I'm going too fast here. The description's got to also answer what you do, where you do it, and why Google should trust you. There it is. Okay. Good stuff. So I know we're like, I want to make sure that we stay on track for time. So we're gonna just continue right on through with this. But is that a good takeaway? Like you guys can definitely do that. Like today, you could audit your Google business profiles and make sure that they have those critical items. Yeah, I think that that would be a great use of your time. Probably the best like 10 minutes that you could possibly spend today or this week because it's that critical. So let's see here. Uh, okay, I'm gonna just cut right to this here. Let's I want to give you all a resource. Speaking of auditing and checking, Lisa, why don't you drop this link in the chat? I want everyone to download this. Um, this is like a complete checklist that you can go through and make sure that everything like you've got all of this accounted for. Um, And if you'd like help doing this, of course, like schedule with us in the link above. Like this is something that we'll walk through with you. But you can totally just like download this and go through to make sure that like the Google Business Profile has everything in place. Um, so I want to give you this and make sure that you're tracking to this before we go further. And I'm gonna totally go off the script for you guys because I just want to make sure that you get as much value as possible. Let's look back at this chart here. So we talked about the Google Business Profile. I want to really key in on a couple of different sections here. Um, let's talk about on page here. So you'll notice this is the second most important section. We're going to revise this graphic for 2026 before too long, and I can tell you this might actually become the most important slice. And by the way, when you look at this, this is so percent influence. This is asking the question, hey, what do I actually have to do? Like cut through the noise. What do I actually have to do to get to show up on the Google map um, and in the AI results? So we talked about the Google business profile. On page is it's all the content that you have on your website. So if you recall when I was showing the AI results here, right? And I said, hey, take a look at where Google's AI pulled these results from. They pulled them from HVAC company websites, right? They had written specific content that anticipated the question that someone would go to Google to search, right? So like how long should an AC unit last? And so that's what we're talking about in this section here, the on page. This is primarily what this is what I'm gonna focus on today because this is where I think you all can take massive action and see like very quick results. Um, you should be asking your marketer what's our content strategy and how are we writing as much, catch this, as much content as we can that actually provides tremendous value to Google and to and therefore our potential customers. So that's the question to ask. And I'll tell you how we're solving that, right? Like we're being hyper aggressive and we're fighting fire with fire when it comes to this. Like the days of the copywriter and the like those days are quickly closing and we have some of the most like unbelievable SEO tools where we're using AI to show up in AI. Isn't that pretty amazing? We're actually able to use AI to not only figure out what is the perfect content, for Kevin to show up in his specific service area to get him to show up on these specific AI keywords, but like our we're using AI to also write that content. But I want to caution you, this is not as simple as like creating a chat GPT account and going and saying, hey, write an article about like you guys should like totally steal this, you know, write an article about how long a typical AC unit should last. If you just go that simple, the problem is it's super obvious to Google that that actually is AI content. And AI is just basically regurgitating what's already out there on the internet. So it doesn't differentiate you in any way. Let me be more specific. If you are just going to ChatGPT and writing all your website content that way, then um, it's not going to move you up in the map. It's you don't stand out from anyone. What we do and what I would encourage you all to do, or make sure that your agencies are doing, is we have to completely train AI on exactly how does Kevin's business operate? How is it different than Joe's? Where exactly are they located? What are their exact services? Also tying in specific comments from reviews, and like we make our AI like so freaking smart and know more about Stefan's business than anything out there that exists, except for maybe Stefan, but huge maybe. Um, and by doing that, we're then able to write content that totally stands out and is not just like the typical copy paste BS that's on the website. So that's what I mean by like you want to be creating as much content as you can, asterisk, that's valuable to Google and your potential customers. Does that make sense? Um, that should be like a monster takeaway. You should definitely write that down and like be asking those questions to your marketer. Um, because if you're just doing exactly what everyone else is doing, then just expect to get the same exact result as everyone else is getting, right? Like there's only one AI search result at this point in time, right? Like June 18th, 2025. Um, there's only one result here. So like if you're doing what everyone else is doing, like don't expect to get that one spot. You got to be different. And this is where we can as I mentioned earlier, even if we can't outspend the PE backed companies, acquired companies, like we can outsmart them. This is the game to be playing for sure. Cool. Want to keep rocking with time. That is a really critical one. If there's any questions on that, throw them in the chat. I want to just make sure that you all have full clarity on the importance of the content on your website. And I want you to be creative. Like content, a lot of people think of blogs. That's great. I'm going to show you how we double dip on content that we write. But like first and foremost, what do your service pages look like, right? Like, do you have at least 1,000 to, better yet, 1,500 words of content on your AC repair page, your heat repair page, your install page? Like all those should have tons of great content, and that's where like AI can be a huge helper in that. Um, Blogs, location pages, right? Like identify your top 5 most important, or if you really want to be in the top 5%, like your top 10, 15 cities that are most important to you. Right? Like every area has, in Cincinnati, we've got Anderson and Blue Ash and Montgomery and like all these different areas. Like there should be a very well written page corresponding to each of those, right? And then with your blog, you're answering questions that your best customers will be asking, like how long does the unit how long will an AC unit last? What's the benefit of a maintenance agreement, contract? Be thinking of those kinds of questions. Okay, good stuff. I'm forgetting on this, so I'm gonna lose my voice. Okay. So let's jump over to links really fast. This is another section that's becoming more and more important as we look here on links. So what are links? Often you guys have probably heard of backlinks. Maybe you get a report from your marketer that's like, hey, we have this many backlinks. So what is a back? Again, this stuff's like not that complicated. If you understand it really well, like you can explain it very simply. A link in this case is simply another website that links to your website. Like, isn't that so simple? And why is that important? Well, let's go back to the referral metaphor, right? So you have the family member that says, Kevin, you got to use this dentist, Anderson Dentist. That's who we use. They're great, right? So that's consider that like one link. That's one reference, one referral. Now your other friend also goes there and has good things to say, and your church friend, and so on and so forth. That's exactly what we're doing by building links to get you to show up in the map section. So I'm going to show you something that's a total killer strategy. And if you're able to do it, like, feel free to swipe and deploy. Most people don't have access to this kind of technology, but let me show you. Yeah, we're going to come, we might come back to some of this. I'm just trying to give you guys like the most valuable cutting edge parts of that. Hopefully you guys are okay with that. Oh, here we go. Beautiful. So let's take a look at this. So this is links, right? So it's one thing to write a piece of content, right? Like, here's a piece of content. The top 4 reasons to leave it to the experts, right? When it comes to HVAC installation and repair services, it's better to leave it to the experts, right? So this is kind of pursuing like a kind of like me, right? I'm gonna attempt to DIY something if I can. Like, I installed our ecobee thermostat. I got the sensors everywhere. I'm very proud of this, but I like replaced the motherboard in our system, and my wife's like, Alex, you're gonna, like, I'm too young to be widowed. Like, don't, make sure you got the power off. Like, crazy people like me, like, I'm going to Google and I'm searching certain pieces out, what are the dangers of working on my system? And right, so we're writing a content piece that's specifically geared towards that. And you guys saw, like, if you just write this content piece and you leave it on your website, like, tremendous value. There's great value there. It's helping you show up in the map. You guys saw exactly how it's helping you get into the AI result. But I'm always a fan of the double dip, right? Like, how do we do one thing? Like, let's say if we do an hour of work, instead, if we only get like one block of value out of that, like, how do we get 3 blocks of value out of that 1 hour, right? Like, how do you, if you're you think about payroll, you have a guy that's like spending 8 hours on the road, like, is he getting 3 jobs in? Like, how do we make him more efficient for like that same amount of time, or become, like, sell better? Like, how do you double dip, right? So this is like a great double dip strategy where you'll see we wrote the content and we're able to push it out as a press release, like, for Joe's company, right? Like, so instead of just having it live on the website, you'll see here, this content piece, it was published by, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 17, 18. So 19 different news outlets published this content piece. So you go, well, holy shit, wait a minute. How much credibility does Kevin's company have if he's writing about himself, right? Like, he's probably going to write pretty favorably about his own business on his own website, and that's good. But now there's 19 other press release, or 19 other news outlets that are also writing about Kevin. Like, that says a lot more. And so here are some examples, right? Like, is this the same? Oh, yeah. So this is a different content piece. Keep cool, a reliable and experienced HVAC contractor in Douglas, Georgia. So, right, let's go back to the questions. What do they do? HVAC contractor. Where do they do it? Douglas, Georgia. Why should we trust them? Well, because the Norwood local town pages is writing about them, and the city journals is writing about them, and 17 other news outlets are writing about them. Right? Does that answer the why they should trust you question? Yeah, what we've seen just looking at the data is it massively answers that question. And so, again, this is the double dip. Like, you're writing the content piece to go on your website. How do we, like, deploy some extra dollars, right? Like, let's pay with money instead of time, and we just, like, double dip this thing and get as much value as possible out of it. This is one of our best strategies to do that. So, like, ask your marketer, how are you double dipping our content? Are you, like, How are you getting it to be more trustworthy? How are you like these are the kinds of questions to certainly ask, and just make sure like you're not leaving money on the table, because don't forget, like I said at the beginning, you guys have like 6 to maybe 12 months optimistically to like really get a foothold in this whole AI race before that window closes and like PE's got it totally figured out and like the big companies are way ahead of you and pulling up the ladder. So like this is the window to like dive in and figure this stuff out and start implementing. That way like you'll be untouchable, right? Like you want to be the one that's pulling up the ladder and you're going, hey, I'm gonna, Stefan's gonna he's in Florida. I'm just gonna dominate Florida. Like let's just do that, and then I'm gonna be uncatchable because by using AI to improve your results, like AI works 24/7, 365. There is no catching you, right? And that's what we've become as marketers. Like we're a 24/7 marketing company because we have our AI working for our clients like round the clock. Yeah, Stefan. Yes, let's dominate Florida. LOL. Dude, like this is like top 5, top 3% thinking. Like full domination. We're set up for 2025 to be the get all of our systems in place, completely set up our marketing, set up our domination to set up an absolute, execution in 2026. Like that's how I want you guys to be thinking about this time of the year, what we have left, and like what we're setting up for. So hopefully that's helpful. Give me just 1 second. Like I said, I'm fighting through a sinus infection here, so bear with me. Hopefully you can understand me well enough. Um, yeah, let's look at some more examples. Is this helpful? Like you guys see, like yeah, this talk's great. Like ideas are fantastic. What actually happens when you implement these ideas? Well, let's look at it. Right, we're talking about map money today. This is a report from one of our clients. Actually, just for continuity, it's the same one of the same clients I was just showing you from this strategy here. Like we're doing the double dip, we're doing the content, we're getting it to show up in the map and the AI, right? And like, so what's the result? Well, I'll just show you this. If there is a flag next to this keyword, what that means is when you search AC company or AC services and you see the flag, that means they're in the map. So they're in the map, they're dominating, right? They're in the map for everything. And it's because we're helping them answer the question for Google, what do they do? Where do they do it? And why should Google trust them? Like we're answering that question so much, it's just completely undeniable. So, you see here, they're literally not only in the map, but the first ranking for all these terms. And look at these poor competitors, right? I'm pretty competitive, by the way, if you can't tell. But if you look at the cost per click, I mentioned you can try to outspend or you can try to out strategize a company, right? Like with the private equity firms. For if a company wants to try to compete with our client for commercial HVAC system installation, they're paying $67.35 just to show up on the first page of Google and get a click. Right? That doesn't mean they got a call. That doesn't mean you guys know how this, Stefan, you know how the PPC game works. What's our client paying? They're paying nothing, right? They're engaging us. They're paying for our services. We get them to dominate on the map, and there's no catching them. Joe, how long should you expect to see? How long does this take? Yeah, great question. So, um, to get this kind of result, well, okay, I'll tell you with this company, they saw this result in like 5 months, which is warp speed, and for this specific strategy, but pretty well worth the time, I would say, right? Like 5 months, and then they get this kind of result. What we typically say is 6 to 9 months to get this kind of result that actually generates tons and tons of money. But remember, this is like one of 6 different strategies. So this is like the long term, like we're going to dominate Florida. This is like the domination strategy, and it doesn't happen overnight. We have the overnight strategies too, by the way. But this is like we're going to dominate. We're going to invest time, money, energy, like do the right strategy, execute in 2025 so that we can dominate in 26. That's like the time. That's why I did this presentation, by the way, in June, right? Like because the timing lines up extremely well to get you positioned to dominate for the next year. Hopefully that answers your question. So 6 to 9 months is generally to get this kind of result, but we obviously don't like our clients. Yeah, we haven't really had an exception yet where a client's not been profitable in the first month. Like I'm a business owner, right? Like ROI is super important to me, so we make a really strong emphasis on that. Is there anyone that wouldn't want to be set up like this in like 6 months, 9 months? Like, yeah, I think that this would be a fantastic result. Oh, and by the way, so this is just basically a snapshot of their rankings, but we're tracking 64, different keywords for our client here, and out of the 64, 50 of them are in the top 3. Why is top 3 important? Well, remember, top 3 puts you in the map, right? So, oh, we've covered a lot of ground, guys. Okay, yeah, top 3 puts you in the map. There's 3 results. So if you're in the top 3, then you're showing up here. You're getting more than 60% of the clicks. Like you're crushing all your competition. That's why top 3 is really important. Okay, good stuff. Is this valuable so far, by the way? Can I get some engagement in the chat? Like, is there a question or anything that I can clarify? You just let me know. Otherwise, if this is just like giving you great ideas to implement and really like turbocharge your marketing, just like give me like a wow or a boom in the chat. I would really appreciate that. Just to make sure that I'm connecting with you guys. Kind of pump my ego up a little bit. No, I'm teasing. Um, Okay, let's see. We're 51 and oh, question here. Joe, how are you getting the news to pick you up? Oh, great question. So let's go back to that. Great question. And it's going to be an answer that you might expect. We pay for it, right? So this is a pay to play strategy. And I think and that's a great news for you, by the way, because that's the shortcut. Like I always ask the question, like, am I paying with time or am I paying with money? I'd much rather pay with money because I go faster and I get the result quicker. Um, why do most marketing companies not do this strategy? Well, because it costs money, right? Like it eats into their profit, or they're maybe not charging enough, right? Like if you like, hopefully you guys are investing in that minimum 5, but like 10 up to 10 to 12% of top line revenue back into marketing. Like for the companies that really want to grow, right? You were trying to grow double digits every year. That's the kind of investment to be making. Um, and by doing that, that's what opens up this opportunity to be able to buy these links. They're all trustworthy. They meet minimum criteria that we select. And so it's not just going to like some Joe Schmo. Like you guys may not recognize, the Norwood local town page or the city journals, but they check minimum boxes as far as Google is concerned. So they're like very authoritative in Google's eyes. Um, Joe says that's something that your company pays for, or is it we need to add that to your reserve? No, good question. So, like when it comes to how we operate, we charge one fee to do all of this for you. And when I say all of this, I mean we get the links, we get you on the news, we write the content, and that's just one of the 6 different channels that I was showing you at the very beginning, right? Um, and I made a sincere promise. Like again, this is not a pitch, but like I truly want to help you guys out as much as possible. So just Joe, to answer your question, like you pay us the one management fee, and then we do everything for you. So we're buying the links. Like it's not like this nickel and dime thing. Um, great, really great question. Um, yeah, and we've completely like this is another thing you should ask your marketers, like how have you changed your maps and SEO strategy in the last 6 months? Like some of my team is on here now. Like we have completely rebuilt our SEO program. Well, why is that? Well, everything's changed. Like we've got AI, we got, like the whole game has changed. So part of that is we're actually this is a bit of an older screenshot because we've actually moved now to where we're doing like 30 to 50 press releases per month. So like we're like the scared companies are pulling back. This is double down season. Like this is put the pedal to the metal because we're committed to helping our clients dominate, because then we dominate. Like it's a win-win. It's our core philosophy here at HVAC Marketers. All right. Yeah, I think that we hammered this pretty well. You guys can see like how we're answering those questions. What do you do? Where do you do it? Why they should trust you as it relates to getting onto the Google Map and the AI and all that good stuff. Let's see where we're going next. Okay, so we're getting close to the top of the hour. Let's skip through. Yeah. Let's tell you what. If you guys are, we didn't really get to cover everything today because like and thanks for playing all out, like Joe, Stefan, like everyone in here that's asking questions, engaging. Like, man, you guys are clearly ahead of the pack. Like that's what winning looks like, and I just want to make sure I'm serving you all at the highest level. So we didn't get to talk about citations. We didn't get to talk about more of the technical on page, like page speed and some of those terms. If you guys would like I really would encourage you, there's no cost, like click on that link and schedule some time, and like we'll one-on-one go through this together and take a look, because I don't want you guys to miss out on some of this other, like some of the other aspects of how we're getting you into the map and into AI. But I also want to be respectful of time, and I know we're going to just go way over, but this is, you could ask my team, this is like pretty much what you sign up for. I grew up in the Midwest. I'm like, I can yap all day long. Um, so with that, yeah, guys, free SEO review. Like we want you guys to win, even if this means like staying with your company or like your marketing, like what, it doesn't matter to me. I want you all to win. Um, So yeah, like definitely take advantage of these resources. Yeah, Lisa, thanks for throwing that link in here. I mean, again, this is the time. 6 to 9 months, it's game over. And I think that's optimistic. You right now need more clarity than ever on your current marketing. How are you positioned current state? How are you positioned for the way that AI is changing it literally every single day, right? I had to grab that screenshot of Google's AI today because it literally changes all the time, right? These are the questions that you need to be asking. And more important, because it's easy to ask a question, these are the problems that you need to have solved for if you want a chance to accelerate past your competition and really dominate 2025, 2026. That's what the top 5% players are doing. They're playing all out. Like this is, the gloves came off this year. So we want to help you with that in any way that looks. Like if that's your mentality, definitely reach out to us. I'm happy to get on a call and with you and really go over some of this. So take a moment and write down like what's your number one takeaway from this session? Is it the 3 questions thing? Right? Is it what do you got to answer the what do you do, where do you do it, why should Google trust you? Maybe the one takeaway is, hey, I got to schedule a meeting with Alex and like, well, I want to get some one-on-one time to figure out how we're positioned for the future of marketing and AI and technology. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's downloading the checklist and delegating that to your office manager and saying, hey, how do we show up on this checklist? I just want you, like, don't let this be a session that you sit through and then no action happens. Like no action, then you may as well not even shown up. So write down that one thing. And again, if you need help, we truly want to see you all win. Like, we're on a mission to help our clients grow at least 20% year over year. We want to have a huge impact in the industry. And that begins with you. So reach out. You've got the link. Guys, thank you so much. We're at the top of the hour. I'm going to let you go. Commit to double down on your business, and every single one of you can crush it. If you're the kind of person that shows up to this session, asks questions, writes things down, and takes action, then there's no reason that you can't dominate Florida or any area that you're in. We've seen it happen too many times not to. So let me know how I can help. That's my contact info. And guys, I look forward to talking to you real soon. Take care.